Goed, welkom iedereen. Mijn naam is Bernard Leverink en ook aanwezig, dat heeft u waarschijnlijk al gehoord, dat is Valensas. En hij is onze partner van AGACAD. Ik ben zelf coördinator van de supportdesk bij Itannex. Dus mocht u vragen over software hebben, dan kunt u die altijd bij ons stellen. Goed, ik werk voor Itannex en Itannex is Autodesk reseller, gold partner. En wij bestaan al sinds 1996. En in die tijd hebben we al meer dan 6000 CAD-werkplekken voorzien van Autodesk software. Ooit begon dit met AutoCAD, maar tegenwoordig zijn dit complete BIM-implementaties. Dus daar valt heel veel software onder die daar een rol in spelen. En zo maken wij ook gebruik van tools die het gebruik van de software vergemakkelijken en een aantal zaken kunnen automatiseren. En dat is een onderdeel dat vandaag besproken wordt. En onze collega Valensas van AGACAD gaat de tools toelichten. Vandaag zal gaan over prefab tools, dus die betrekking hebben tot het prefabriceren van de onderdelen uit je Revit model. Denk aan wanden, vloeren enzovoorts. So, Valensas, I will give the word to you, so you may start your part of this presentation.
Okay, good, Bernard. Thank you for introduction.
Oh, Valensa, I just forgot one thing. If you go back to the last slide. Voor alle deelnemers, mochten jullie een vraag willen stellen, dan kan dat dus via de chat. Let wel, ik kan de vragen zelf niet lezen. Dus dat zal Valensas alleen kunnen lezen. Hij kan helaas geen Nederlands, dus dat zal in het Engels moeten. Mocht u toch een vraag in het Nederlands willen stellen, dan kunt u dat sturen naar het adres bernards.leverink@itannex.com. En ik zal proberen om alle vragen zo snel mogelijk te beantwoorden na het webinar. Well, Valensas, thank you.
Okay.
You may start.
Okay, good. So a few words about our company and then I'll start the live demo. So AGACAD, we are developers of different tools. So we have a lot of them and we sell it worldwide. We do the training demos and so on, and Itannex our partner, so we will keep you in your region. Our promise to our users is to reduce stress while implementing them, so we will continue to make these tools better and better, so don't worry about this. And this is all of our tools which we have currently in our portfolio. So we have Precast Concrete, wood framing, different cut opening, management of parameters, different kind of tools. So today I'll talk only about Precast Concrete. So it can create elements, it can insert details, it can sort elements, and it could create drawings. So it will help you while working with modeling and documenting precast elements. So these are all the solutions included in Precast Concrete. So we have floor panel layout to create prefab floors, then smart walls to split the walls into the panels, then smart details to insert the elements, connections, sort mark to automatically sort elements, and smart assemblies to create drawings. So you'll see how to split walls, how to insert connections, how to sort elements, and how to create drawings today. So all these 4 solutions I will show. And now I will switch to Revit screen. Okay, I will minimize this window. Okay, now you should see my Revit screen. I'll make some things in this model. If you have questions, just write them. I will try to answer them at the end of presentation. And now on the right side, you see tools for BIM docs. So this is our solution, which you can install in Revit and then try our solutions for the 2 weeks period free trial. And over here you see Precast Concrete. So today I will talk about this one. you can apply this about in framing elements, floor elements, or wall elements, but today it's about walls. So let's get started. First of all, I will select Smart Walls tool, and over here we have different commands, but let me show you just a couple of them, how to work with them. So first of all, I'll maybe just switch over to the floor plan view so you could see it better. First of all, I will use short pivot walled end, and what I want to do is when I select the end of a wall, you will see that walls are disjoint and the gap appears between the walls. So you can go around your walls like this, for example, just make sure the connection changes between them. So in the corners, I can switch over the connection between elements. So this is one of the options. Then let's say I will select all of these, this type of walls in the window, and I will disallow joints. So what it will do, it will also disallow, you see, the joint between walls, and it will add this gap between the walls. So why do I have this kind of gap? We have gap configuration by wall type window. So we can set up what kind of gaps do we want to have when we disjoin walls or when we split the walls. So to split walls, we have additional split wall menu. So over here we have some settings, how to split around the openings, what should be the size of the panel. So we can change that. Then what should be the maximum panel size maybe, and you can use these settings to split your walls. So let's say I will select a couple of walls, and I will select it from openings. And now you'll see I have this panel around the openings is created. But let's see another command. So let's say I will select a couple of walls again and split from the selected direction. So let's say split from the start. Okay, so we have some limitations for the minimum size of the panel. So you can change these settings in different ways, and it will not split if it's not meeting required dimensions. So let me do that again. And this time you see I have my wall panels created. So just split it in the same panel sizes, and then the leftovers is left like this. So we can split them like this. Another option is to split in the exact locations. Let's say I have a grid line, I can draw it in the place where I want it to be, and then I can select my grid lines and split by them. So split by grid lines, this wall, hit on escape keyboard, and then we have these elements created. So let me do that one more time. Split by grid line, escape, wall, and escape. So I would have another panel over here. So you can go around, play with it, just make sure it is like you want it to be. And the next step is, like now, if I'm good with the panels, I can go around, switch over to Smart Details, then insert some details. So how Smart Details work is that it will place your elements based on configurations. So let me show you the configuration window. Here you have different categories to work with Smart Details. So you can use Smart Details on curtain walls, ducts, floors, framing elements, columns, walls, and so on. What you can do, you can place line-based details or point-based details on the selected faces, as you can see in these pictures. So let me switch to one of the configurations, and let me show you, let's say, over here on the top face of wall, I want to insert this family. So I can select families from the project, which are in the project, or I can browse it from here, from the list, or from this family browser. So I can select my family, which I want to insert. I select it to insert. I have flipping options. I have, I can select if I want to place it on the top, on the bottom, or on both faces. And then at the layout axis, I have possibility to say how it should be inserted, define the rules, how should it be inserted. And you see in this picture, these are the settings, how this detail will be inserted in one direction, and then these are the settings, how to place this detail in other direction. So you can do that for the line-based details and for the point-based details. For the point-based details, additionally, over here under layout correction by elements, we have possibility to search vertically or horizontally for other elements intersection. So let's say in this case, I'm searching horizontally for other walls and for connection between the walls. So it's just basically when we have a corner between the walls. And we have other types of connection between different elements. So the elements also could be beams and so on. So we can find intersections and place detail only in this kind of situation. So it will help you just quickly insert the details. So I'll close down the configuration window, and I will want to mention that all the configurations, they are saved in desired location, so you can keep your configurations in different places. So let me close down this window, and let's go ahead and just insert a couple of details. So I will select a couple of walls, click on Create, Insert Details, and now from the list of configurations, I just need to select the configuration which I want to apply for these walls. Where is it? Okay, it's over there. So I select the configuration which I want to use and click on Insert Details, and it will place the details to the selected elements based on configurations. So we will see the result. Okay, so now it's starting to place. Okay, that's the result. So you see now, let's say I selected to place some details on the top, some details at the bottom, some details at the edges, at the start and beginning, also the cut at the end and beginning of my wall. And we have a little bit difference between these walls, because in this wall we have intersection with other wall. So that's why the solution automatically finds that we have T connection between these two elements, and then it will place this detail only if we have T connection. For this wall we don't have, so we don't have this detail. If I will select this detail and click on Modify Details, it will bring me straight to the configuration of this detail, and you will see that I was searching the T connection between for these details. And anytime you can make individual modifications for the selected wall. So let's say you need to make some small tweaks. Let's say in this case, I just change the spacing of these details, right? So you can anytime modify, delete, update details, follow the changes in your project and so on. Okay, I will select a couple of more walls and I will show you other situations. Let's say I will now, this time I will click on Auto Insert. And what does it mean? It will read the name of configuration from the properties of the wall, and it will apply that configuration which is selected for these walls. So I selected two types of the walls, so that's why I have two different configurations. So for this wall, for example, I have different kind of loops. I have some different other kind of details. I have some void at the top just to place hollow core slabs and so on. I can show you in the plan view how does it look. Over here I have this kind of cut just to place my elements like this. So I can go around and create stuff like this. Over here, let's say I have L connection between walls. So again, this detail was inserted only if we have L connection between walls. So these are a couple of features. Let me switch back here. And you see I have a window here, and I'm missing this kind of detail. So let me show you why. It's because we have also possibility to check if there is enough of solid element space. So you see in this picture, we can check it. If there is enough space, we'll insert this detail. If there is not enough space, it will not be inserted. So you can see that it was not inserted under the window. So these are a couple of examples. I will show you maybe already finished result over there. Switch here. So a couple of more examples for the sandwich walls. So connections are more complete than in the previous example, but yeah, basically that's what we can do with this type of walls. Then let me switch back again to 3D view. And I have a couple of more different walls. So let's say over here. So I will switch over again to the plan view and to this view and to the section view. Let's say I have walls like this. I have window inserted already. So I can select these walls and I will show you another example. Just by clicking on auto insert, I'm reading the name of configuration in the properties. Let's say this wall, it has smart detail configuration parameter and it has the name of configuration which should be applied for this wall. So it's the same for this wall and this wall. And this time I have inserted just line-based element on the top to cut the wall and then additional concrete element to go inside the wall. So we can have pretty complex forms of elements just by using families and the smart details. Another feature of smart details is that, let's say we have different size of elements of the walls, right? And then when I insert details, so because it's based on rules, so the details are distributed in across the wall, right? But additional thing is that we can read information from the host element. So let's say this detail, you see two details placed as one family here, but why it's following the size of the wall, it is because I can read any parameter from the host element. So when I create this family, I can have this parameter, which is reading the length of the wall. And when the length of the wall is different, the distance between my details will be different, and it will adapt to the size of my wall. So that's another great feature of smart detail. So you can use that on different sizes of element. Let's say another example would be like if I'll go there, you see I have another type of sandwich walls here. So I can, let's say, place this kind of cut, this kind of concrete detail to have a good view of my walls. And over here, let's say I have thickness of wall is 300 and this one is 280. But when I will try to insert details to these walls, I'll do that again. I have configurations entered for these walls, so I don't need to pick that from the list. And now you will see that, let's say this detail, it's reading the width and unconnected height of the wall, so it's adapting to the size of the wall. Over here, let's say this detail is also reading the connected element, the width of this wall, and also some other parameters from the host wall. So again, it could be applied in different ways, and it will automatically, the same family, it will automatically adjust to the sizes of the wall. So you don't need to create many families, you just need to add these parameters and use them. Okay, so that's the way you create walls, right? And what else you can do with Precast Concrete? Let's try to, what do we have now? Before we start creating drawings, we need to have Mark Vella, because the Mark Vella will define the name of assembly, the type name. So what I will do now, my Mark parameter now is empty. So what I will do now is that maybe I'll switch to this view, and I will select all of the walls. So I'll filter them, maybe just a selection, and I will switch now to sort mark, go to renumber elements, element numbering, and over here I have possibility to choose parameter. Where do I want to write information? So I'll choose mark, and here are the configuration for the automatic numbering of the walls. or selected elements or any other category of elements. It could be used on any kind of elements. So it could be used for selection or for the whole category. So we can group elements by any parameter, instance or type parameter. Then we can filter, let's say filter by length walls, so only renumber selected walls, filtered walls. Then we can, let's say, add any parameters which will have influence on the mark of our walls. Let's say I'll do it like this. So I'll add a couple of these and maybe even the type name. So if it's different, the number will be different. So if these parameters are different, the number will be different. We can also use ID, so all of them will be different. But let's just stick with that. We can save configurations also, what we will do here. Then sort elements. You can sort them again by different parameters, by level name, level number, position in the plan, and so on. So I don't know, we can just add, let's say, position. We can add that. Then sort mark. In the last stage, now I will select this parameter to add to the mark. So this is a calculated parameter based on these settings. So I will start numbering at 1. I will add prefix like this. Actually, I can add any information here, right? So it could be added any information, but this time I want to add just a number. So I will keep it like this, and I will click on OK. 42 elements was renumbered. Some of them will have same mark values, probably because on my settings. So now I have the mark value for all, and I will select that, and I will go now to Smart Assemblies and create assembly. So this is just another solution for the automatic shop drawings. So here I have some configurations how the view should be created, and I will just create that. What Smart Assemblies will do, it will gather all the hosted elements together in one assembly automatically. It will create views based on configurations. It will place dimensions based on configurations, and it will place views on the sheet based on the template project. So now the assembly is created. Let me show you the result, and I will talk about how did it happen. So let's say I will switch over. Now the assembly is created. The views are placed on the sheet. As you can see, I have the automatic dimensions. So they are following, let's say, the loops. So I have the dimension chain. I have the overall dimensions. I have gravity point dimensions. I have cut dimensions if I want to. So I have schedules in my sheet. I have 3D view. So everything is based on my sheet template, which I have in template project. So let me show you how did it happen. So Smart Assemblies, it has shop drawing configurations. Let me open that for you. And then you see here, I can add view. I can select the direction of a view. It could be legend view. It could be standard views or flipped versions of the views, actually. So I can select that. It could be assembly view. It could be model view. So it will place the section in the model, or it could be assembly view. So then automatically rotate the view, then view type, name of the view, you can enter whatever you want, view template, so visibility settings here, and the dimension rule. So what are dimension rules is this window with settings, how to dimension main element, how to dimension cuts, non-standard cuts, openings, how to dimension metal details, how to dimension concrete details, how to dimension rebars in different views, how to dimension elements, and where to place dimensions, what node should be included in the dimensions. So you have a lot of options here. The style of dimensions, the style of text could be modified, of course. Over here, we have the settings for the nodes and so on. I would like to make a special note about the hosted metal details, is that if you have element in your project like this, right? So it could be dimensioned anywhere, right? But you can do it like this. It will dimension only total dimensions. Or if you have lines in the model lines in the family, the dimension line will snap to that model line. It will neglect all the geometry. It will only snap to model line. So basically it's unlimited, and you can have your dimensions in the just in the exact position where do you want to have them. So that's about the views. We have some gravity point insertion tag options and some reverse options additionally here, but basically it just helps to achieve the result you want. Now the detail view is just a name for the model view, which you may create for assembly, and then the schedules. So these are the schedules which you want to create. Then you select the schedule template, and it could count the instance or the type. The sheets, again, over here, you can select the created sheet to be as a sheet template. But what I did is that I have template project. I can define where I have a template project. And then in the template project, I can create my assemblies, predefine how the view should be created. Let's say for the previous case, I was using the layout of this sheet. So I have this kind of wall in the template project, and then every time I create assembly in this project by using that configuration, that views will be placed on the sheet in the same order as it is placed in the template project. So that's another example, right? What you can do with smart assemblies. Let me switch over to the template project actually, and I will show maybe another example of the walls. So this is a simple wall as the previous, very similar, just with the plates and different kind of connections at the bottom, but it doesn't matter because you can define how to dimension them. Let's say for these plates, I have model lines in cross of model lines in the center, so I have dimension lines in the exact position where do I want to have them. So, okay, so this wall, then let's say I have a wall with rebars. So another wall, but this time I have two sheets. I have views similar to previous one, but then on the other sheet I have rebars. I have dimensions for the rebars. I have schedule for the rebars, which I want to use here. Also fabric could be used also, right? It can have dimensions. It could be dimensioned. Okay, these are different elements. It's not walls, but okay, sandwich wall maybe. Over here we have this kind of wall. So again, it depends on my settings, but basically I can have dimensions anywhere I want and dimension elements in a good way. So all of this was done automatically. Another feature of smart assemblies is that you can use, how to say, if I will create a couple of assemblies here. So let me, okay, so these, they don't have element numbers. So maybe I can just quickly renumber these elements. Sort mark, so renumber elements, element numbering, mark, okay. I will number them based on the ID, so we will have a different number. So I'll just give them the starting point, let's say like this. I'll click OK. So now I have the mark values for the selected walls. And what I want to do is now to create assemblies from these walls. So I select the configuration, click on create, and you will notice that if I will select more than one element, it will create the same amount of assemblies. It means that I will have 3 assemblies not one assembly like Revit would do, but 3 assemblies. So that's another feature of Smart Assemblies. And now what do I have? I have Manage Assemblies option in Smart Assemblies, and I can use this command to find all the same type assemblies in my project. And I can also select to show primary assembly. So this one is primary, it has drawings. And why I'm showing this is because we have this kind of feature of dynamic Smart Assemblies update. And it means that when I want to make changes to primary or secondary assemblies, it will ask me, am I sure if I want to make these changes? Do I want to make changes and update drawings? Do I want to make changes and just recalculate position of gravity point, or I don't want to make these changes? So let's click on no and just update the assembly, and you'll see that additional updates are now executed. And why is that? Is because now it's updating also secondary assemblies, and you will see that these assemblies, they also now they have their additional plate added. So that's the control or possibility to update all the elements at once. When you're having same type of assemblies, it's more easier to control. Let's say you want to make changes to secondary assembly. Again, it will ask if you want to create new assembly, what do you want to do? Maybe you don't want to do anything because you are just mistaken. You didn't know that you have same type of assemblies somewhere in your project. Okay, so that's basically what we have about the solutions for the walls and the precast concrete. If you need some help, you can click on this question mark. You can go there directly to the help page. So you'll find some getting started video. You'll have some webinar records, some technical documentation available, which explains some of the things, how to work with it. Also, you can contact us or Bernard actually, and he will help you to get through it. You can take these trials just by downloading BIM-doc from web page and just request the trial, and you'll get the codes to use it for 2 weeks. So this is again the contact of Itannex. If you need some information, you just contact him. Now, if you have questions, if you have them, contact Bernard, and he will help you. I hope you like it. Any feedback appreciated. So I don't know, Bernard, do you want to end up something?
Well, I would like to thank you for your nice presentation. So thank you for that. And for the people who are still listening, Valenza zei het al, als er vragen zijn, dan kun je deze mailen naar bernard.leverink@itannex.com. Ik zeg erbij, we hebben hier een team van consultants die heel veel over de tools weten. En daar zal ik ook de vragen mee gaan bespreken om tot het juiste antwoord te komen. Mocht u meer vragen hebben, niet zozeer over de inhoud, maar meer over wat u moet doen om gebruik te kunnen maken van de tools en wat er allemaal bij komt kijken, dan kunt u die vragen natuurlijk ook stellen. Want het kan bijvoorbeeld betekenen dat het misschien een idee is om iemand van ons langs te sturen om u bij de tools te ondersteunen. Goed, daarmee zou ik het webinar willen afsluiten. Als er vragen zijn, dan hoor ik het wel. En tot de volgende keer. Valenza, thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye bye.
AGACAD, building BIM together.